You said in your book, when two or more are gathered, the anchor holds. And it's interesting because a lot of our faith, it looks as Jesus and what he did for us on the cross as the anchor of our faith in what we do. Do you feel that there's a hunger for God in the generation that is out there right now, and they're looking for God in all the wrong places?
No, I yes and no. I think there is a desperation to be plugged into something bigger than yourself.
That's good.
And I think during COVID, what we accidentally did, and I think it's going to be 100-year. It's going to cost us for 100 years or more. Is we pulled in an effort to pick sides and to fight and to politicize everything. We accidentally pulled the thread because we all believed a little bit, kind of, sort of, that at the end of the day, the government's trying to do the best they can for all of us. We thought that, kind of, you know what I mean? We knew the government's crooked and government, but they were looking out for us. We also thought our doctors, doctors, they want us to be healthy. You know what? Schools are like, we want schools are working for kids, right? Churches have everybody's best interest. Well, dude, all of a sudden you pull a thread. Nobody trusts the government anymore. Whatever side you're on, nobody trusts it. Then everybody started saying, hey, the doctor's trying to kill us, or the doctor's not trying hard enough. And then when you pull the thread, those teachers are trying to kill those kids, or those kids are trying to kill those teachers by not wearing masks or whatever, or making them wear. And then the churches hooked their wagon to political one or the others, and all of a sudden they got lumped in with it. And now we got a mess because we have a culture that doesn't trust in anything.
Wow.
And that is a dangerous place for individuals to be. So I think innately, I talk about it in the book, whether you're an atheist or a deep, passionate believer of Jesus or whatever, we have to understand that for thousands of years, all across the globe, the human body was designed to worship. We walk outside and look up at the sky and say, dear God, please rain, because my kids will die if it doesn't. And then the last 150 years, we got running water in our houses, and we think we're really fancy and smart. We got real arrogant. And I think we've realized, oh, dude, we don't know. And I've got a buddy's a I've sat down with some of these neuroscientists and cancer doctors. They don't know. They're working on it, and they're narrowing it down. They don't know. They don't know how this stuff works. And they've got ideas and hypotheses and theories, and they're able to look at some of the stuff with fMRIs. They're getting there. But I think everybody's tapping into, there's got to be a bigger narrative here, and everybody feels it. Everybody feels it. When it comes for looking at God, they're all the wrong places. I don't know that that's the case as much as there's not a map anymore. Because previous generations, they went to church, and what a lot of people got was a lot of shame. They got beat up a lot, and they saw their parents have pretty miserable lives, and they're just like, I don't want that, right? I don't want whatever is going on there. And I don't know that everywhere the church is offering, here's how to do life as a person of faith in this wild world. And that's been the church's job for all human history, is to take care of widows and orphans, and
amen, to
take care of the least of these, and to teach its people, how to love your neighbor. And we've gotten away from that. It's either all like, let's talk about the Greek and the Hebrew, which is fine, or let's talk about the political stuff. And I think people are burnt, and they're like, man, I'm gonna go find it somewhere else. I did hear one guy, Zach, say, and it stuck me. We were chit-chatting, and he was some kind of sociology, something or other or something. And he said, hey, dude, church has not gone away in the U.S. It's not declining. And this was not a person of faith. He said, they just don't meet at the church building anymore. They meet at the CrossFit gym. They meet at the bar class. They meet in yoga class. They meet at the theater class. They're still getting together and going hunting. They just don't go to your buildings. Wow. And that was a big indictment. People will gather because that's how the human body is designed. That's scary for the church, for believers, for all of us, that we have outsourced that. And I think it's time to reclaim hospitality. You are welcome here. And I think that's where we start.
It sounds like your mission is that. And are you leading people to that with this year specifically, as far as like it being an intense year of, the chaos and carnage that the election year usually brings? Is that what you're kind of guiding people towards, is just all of those principles that you speak of as far as community and just self-accountability and facing the reality that's in and having the belief system that you have?
I don't know that I can force anybody to do anything. When I decided whether to take this job or not, I I remember telling my wife, the world's chaotic, and I want to at least tell my kids that I got in the ring.
There you go.
I put the gloves on, I put the mouthpiece in, I give it a shot.
That's amazing.
And your old man might try to be a podcaster, YouTuber, whatever this job, and write books, and nobody may watch them.
Yeah.
But I want to at least be able to look at my kids and say I didn't hide when things got sideways. The second thing is, going back to your last question, I think people are desperate for a picture. What does it look like?
Yeah, exactly.
What does it look like to be a dad who's like, I'm a 6'2", 200-pound Texas male. What does it look like to be a dad is strong and tough and knows how to work and knows how to be a person of like dignity? And also, I got to learn how to feel. And I got to learn how to keep my mouth shut. I got to learn how to say, I'm sorry. And will you forgive me? And I don't know. Can you help me? And my favorite words, I changed my mind. I used to believe this really strongly. And now I got some new info and now I believe this. We don't have a map for what that looks like, or a mom whose own mother either was just disappeared on her or was so critical of every step. And she wants to be different. She just doesn't have a roadmap for what that looks like. So we used to live in tribes, and if it wasn't us, we pointed at our aunt, right? Our Aunt Debbie was awesome. Yeah. Or Uncle Bill, that guy was awesome. I want to be like him because my dad is a drunk, or my dad doesn't show up, or all that's gone now. And so we don't have anybody. And so I think what I hope to provide is, like, I'm a big, tall guy. I got a lot of tattoos. I listen to old punk rock music still. I want people to look and go, okay, that guy, I know a guy that looks like him, and I want to provide a picture of, like, that's what my show is people call in with some really wild, tough things that are going on in their life, and I want to meet them with compassion, and I want to meet them with, hey, here's the next right step, and I want to give people a picture of, here's what kindness actually looks like in real life. Here's what holding somebody accountable looks like. Here's when I get angry. Here's what that looks like. Here's what faithful anger looks like, right? And here's what an apology. I've done several apologies on my show when I blow a call or something. But I'm trying to just provide a picture, a different outlet, or a different picture of, here's another way to do life, man. And it's so much more peaceful than this chaos we're being sold right now.
Absolutely, man. I love that. And I love your heart for that. And I always think that's why I consider you, man, a really big voice for the kingdom of God, because you're leading people in a way that's mentally making their lives better, emotionally, as well as just being somebody that's in their ear, especially when you talk to me or not talk to me, but you talk to our audience in the book. So me, the reader, about the fact that people don't have somebody that they can call. So they call your show to get this advice because they have that such lack of community. And so have you always been this way? Because it seems like you're making such a big difference in people's lives now. Or did it stem from, you kind of open up a little bit about the personal anxiety that you've struggled with and your childhood trauma of not, having money and your hatred towards money because of that. So where did this all get birthed, and how did you overcome that to get to the place where you are today?
I mean, I don't, I'll say it like this. I don't look at anxiety as something to overcome anymore. It's a thing my body tries to do it's an important thing that my body does to let me know that I'm getting out of whack in a certain area of my life. Wow. And so what I want to do is try to create a life where it rings not very often. Right. But we got some data. I'll just give you a good example. We got some data a few weeks ago that my show had entered into a sphere that I didn't understand it was capable of. It just got real big, real fast. Right. And it freaked me out, Zach. Yeah. Like I'm an introvert. I'm a nerd, dude. I'd like to sit with my book out in the woods. I like to go hunting and fishing, and I like to be with my kids and a couple of my buddies. Like, I don't understand all what's happening.
I see your stories. I know.
It's wild, man. I just don't get it. Right. And so, but it tripped me out. And I got anxious, and I started thinking, all the people and all this, and what if I say this, and what about this, and all that. And man, I had to get back to the own principles there. Yeah. And what I'm trying to pass along, dude, I didn't make up any of this stuff. None of this is original to me. I want people to experience my friend Randy, who sat with me for a year, my friend Slade, who sat with me for a year. We worked out together for a year. And I want people to experience my friends Kevin and Michael, who I reach out and be like, hey, am I nuts on this? And they're like, yep. You're nuts, man. And I want people to experience my friend Todd and John, who vote differently than me. They vote way the wrong way, by the way. And we fight over issues. And dude, both of them are in my will. Like will help out when I die. They'll help my wife out, right? Because like me and my wife trust them that much. And so all that to say is, I want the world to experience that. And I want people to experience, every single person, everybody is going through something, and it's hard. Life is really hard. We bought into this nonsense that life is easy, and if you do it right, then you don't have any problems. That's not true. You build an unanxious life so that when you have problems, you can absorb the blow, right? It's not to make a perfect life. And if you're a Christian, that's one of the guarantees Christ gives us. It's going to be miserable, right? If you follow me, you got to give up everything, and it's a tough ride. And so we want to follow, but we also want to ride the Cadillac, right? We want both, and that's not the story. And so I want people to not owe anybody any money, because I want you to know what that night of sleep is like. And it took me and my wife 15 years. It's not something we just did, right?
Wow,
15 years, and I want people to know what it's like to sit down every week with your wife and say, how can I love you this week? What's on our calendar? What can I take off so that I can show up for you? And I want people to know what it's like. Last night when I was at a punk rock show of old guys that were going back on tour that I used to listen to in high school. And I texted my wife from right outside the mosh pit. I texted her, thank you for every once in a while holding down the fort while I go wild out. And she said, thank you for loving me so much. Right. So, I mean, it's like, it's Let's this. Go. I want people to know what that is like.
Yeah.
And we just don't have that in our culture. And so, man, if someone can watch the show, pick up a little bit of, I want people to know what it's like to not have teenagers on cell phones.
Right. 100%.
To have teenagers whose minds are clear and whose teenagers are begging you to get their driver's license instead of like that's fallen off a map in the last 5 to 10 years. No kid wants to drive anymore because they just have their phones and their whole world. I want kids to know, I can go on, but I just want people to know that piece, man. And we just don't know what that even is anymore. And so I want to provide a picture of that.
Thank you so much for supporting our YouTube channel. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe and smash that like button. If you would like to see another short clip from this episode, you can do so here. Or if you want to see the full conversation, you can do so here. And make sure you subscribe on Patreon. If you'd like to partner with us, you can do that. The link in the description of this video. Thank you so much, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers.